welcome to Newfoundland and Labrador Studies 2205. This is Unit 2, The Roots of Our Culture, and I'm Miss Fleming, your instructor for this course. This is Section 5, Lesson 5, on the seal fishery. First, we must look at the differences between the indigenous fishery and the commercial settler fishery. The indigenous seal fishery has existed since time immemorial. The commercial settler seal fishery began in the 18th century. The indigenous seal fishery began as a subsistence activity to provide food, fur, and oil for families to use. The commercial settler seal fishery is a market activity to trade goods for currency, relying on supply and demand. A large part of this lesson, of course, is on the commercial settler fishery. English settlers began catching seals, mainly harp seals, with nets. This is the reason why it was called the seal fishery at the time, as opposed to the seal hunt. Taking a look at this image of a typical seal hunter, you can see that he has different tools, which were also used as the fishery progressed, such as picks and harpoons. Whenever seals passed near the shore on ice pans, fishers would go out onto the ice and catch them. They would sometimes use small boats to go out as well. The best places to catch seals as they migrated south were along the South Labrador coast, the Strait of Belle Isle, and north of Twillingate. The seal fishery influenced permanent settlement in the area as a means of winter income. Residents in the southeastern portion of the island began to be attracted by the profitable seal industry by the end of the 18th century. Because seals did not travel to the area, fishers would travel north to find the seals. And in 1793, the first schooners left St. John's to participate in the commercial seal fishery. This, of course, was a profitable enterprise. The seal industry became a rival to the cod fishery in importance to settlers at the time. Its peak was in the 1830s and 1840s, when approximately 14,000 men were employed by the industry. Seal became a third of Newfoundland and Labrador's exports by value. Salt cod made up most of the rest. The most valuable product from seal was their oil, which was used for lamps, lubricants, and soaps. Oil and pelts, which is what is depicted in this image, were in high demand in England. Pelts were used in upholstery, gloves, boots, jackets, and other items. Until around 1870, the majority of the commercial fishery was centered in Conception Bay, mainly Harbour Grace, Carbonear, and Brigus. The industry supported the economy of the area, more so than even the shore fishery. The introduction of steamer ships changed everything, when wealthy merchants from St. John's could afford to make the investment. They were more efficient than the wooden sailing ships, and by the turn of the century, the entire industry was run by wealthy St. John's merchants, with baymen fighting to get a berth on a sailing ship in the spring. Now this fishery was very risky. Ship owners may lose their vessels, and frequently did not make a profit if they did not get enough pelts. But several bad seasons could be easily undone by a good one. For the sealers themselves, the risks were mainly on the ice floes, where injury, drowning, or freezing to death could occur. Along with this, the ships were often in squalor and very unsanitary. The pay was very little, but it was improved with the 1831 sealer strike, which guaranteed pay as opposed to credit, similarly to the cod fishery, of course. By the 1850s, yields began to decrease, with herds in decline. The price of seal oil decreased in the 1870s as petroleum products were replacing it for fuel. The economic importance of the fishery fell to about 5% of Newfoundland and Labrador's exports by 1914, with that year also encompassing the sealing disaster. And we'll talk about that later on in this course. So now it's time to review. I'm going to ask you now to complete the activities in Brightspace, but make sure to take a break if you need one. A break is always valuable. And I'll see you in the next one.